Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something maybe less glamorous than the big NFT wins. What happens when these projects, well, fail?
Yeah, the flip side of the coin.
Yeah.
We've got some material that really paints a picture of how things can go south after all that initial buzz.
Exactly. I mean, remember when pixelated monkeys or these little voxel cats were selling for just fortunes?
Oh, yeah. Tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes. Crazy stuff.
So our goal here is to sort of map out that life cycle of a failed project, see what we can learn, for navigating this whole space better.
And what's really striking looking at this is just the speed, how fast it can all unravel. Assets that had huge value, tons of hype, gone, practically worthless in what, months sometimes?
Really shows how speculative it all is.
Mhm.
So let's start right there with the price. The material talks about the floor price. That's, the absolute lowest asking price.
Right,
It
yeah.
just collapses, goes from maybe 1 ETH, which was serious money, down to like 0.01 ETH or even less.
Yeah, basically zero.
And it paints this picture of holders just being trapped. Like they can't sell even if they want to, not at any price that makes sense.
So it's it exactly. The demand just evaporates.
Mm.
Maybe the hype fades. Maybe there was never real utility. Whatever the reason, suddenly there are no buyers. Or, well, no buyers willing to pay anything significant. Liquidity just vanishes.
And it's not only the money disappearing, is it?
No, not at all.
The source material really highlights how the communities just implode. Those super active discords. Suddenly, crickets,
Yeah, total ghost towns.
devs, stop talking, no more updates. And those influencers who were pumping it, gone.
Vanished. And all those big promises on the roadmap.
Oh, yeah, the roadmaps, metaverse integration,
Celebrity collabs.
all that stuff.
Right.
Just poof, never happens.
And that social side, the community engagement, that's such a massive part of NFTs, right?
Huge.
So when that starts to fade, when the team goes quiet,
Yeah.
that's a major red flag.
Mhm.
It signals, maybe the project's actually dead, erodes all the confidence.
So what are you left with then? The material calls it a dead link on the blockchain, which sounds about right. Like you still technically own the NFT. It's sitting there in your wallet.
Permanently on the chain, yeah.
But it's useless, right? Like holding a ticket to a concert that got canceled months ago.
Exactly. The ownership record is there, but the value, the utility that was all tied to the project being alive, the ecosystem, the community, and that stuff can be pretty fragile.
Here's something interesting, though. The sources mention people who just hold on. They keep these worthless NFTs, not really believing they'll come back, but just unable to let go.
Yeah, there's definitely a psychological element. Sunk cost fallacy, maybe. Reluctance to just admit the loss.
I guess sometimes projects do get revived, like a new team takes over, or it randomly goes viral again.
It happens, but it's rare. Like, really rare. The exception, not the rule. Mostly, they're just digital fossils.
Okay, so why does this matter to you listening? Well, the material really drives home that this NFT space is still super young, very volatile.
Like,
And just because something has a lot of hype at the start doesn't mean it'll last. You need more.
you really do. You need an actual product or utility, a real team behind it with a vision that goes beyond just the initial mint, the initial sale.
That initial excitement, the FOMO, it can really blind people to the fundamentals, or lack thereof.
It's so easy to get caught up. You have to consciously look past that surface level stuff.
And here's maybe a tough pill to swallow from the sources. If you're active in NFTs, you're probably going to buy something that goes to zero.
It's presented as almost like a rite of passage, a common thing.
Which means you have to accept that risk going in, right? The potential for big gains comes with a very real risk of, well, total loss.
That's the nature of these emerging speculative markets.
So what can we pull from this NFT graveyard then? The big lesson seems to be, ask the hard questions before you jump in. Before you ape in, as they say.
Right. Do your homework. Who's the team? Are they public? Do they have a track record?
What's the actual point of the NFT? Does it do anything? Or is it just a collectible?
And what's the long-term plan? Is there one? Or is it just about the mint?
Don't just rely on vibes and art, as in the material puts it, unless, you genuinely just love the art and are happy to own it regardless of price.
That's a different calculation, yeah. But for an investment, you need more. Ask, what problem does this solve? What value does it offer?
So wrapping up our deep dive here, the main takeaway seems pretty clear. Look beyond the hype. Critically evaluate these NFT projects. Understand the risks involved.
Yeah, and maybe zooming out a bit, it's just a reminder that with any new tech, any new asset class, there are going to be failures, lots of them. Learning from those failures is actually how the whole space matures.
That's a really good point. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, next time you hear that intense buzz building around a hot new NFT drop, just ask yourself, are those really fresh promises? Or could they be, perhaps, echoes from the NFT graveyard? Something to chew on before you dive in. Thanks for joining us.